Hello everyone, NoahNovels here, and for today's video, I have a relatively short review of the free visual novel Carpe Diem. Carpe Diem is a short kinetic visual novel developed by Moonlit Works, who would go on to make the sequel to Carpe Diem Reboot, as well as Without Romance, which was an entry in the 2020 Summer Novel Festival. The reason this review video is on the shorter side despite my love of rambling, is that Carpe Diem only took me 10 minutes to fully complete, and that includes a rereading of it on my part. But I don't see a short length as a detriment when it comes to a visual novel. So long as it has an interesting story that sticks with me, I consider that a success. So does Carpe Diem achieve that? Let's see. Also stick around to the end of the video to hear me talk a bit about the state of this channel and what I hope to do with it going forward. So first up, we got the most important aspect to any visual novel, the story. I like to keep my reviews spoiler-free. This visual novel is 10 minutes long. So here's potentially the most basic and bare-bones summary of a visual novel story I've ever done for a video. This is a story about a character named Yun, who goes out on a date with a girl named Ai. Throughout your 10-minute escapade, you will decide where you want Yun to go with Ai, they'll have some fun interactions, and you eventually reach the final scene, which doesn't change in any way depending where you decide to take the two out on their date. Allow me to read Carpe Diem's official plot synopsis from its Steam page real quick. What makes someone perfect? Experience this short, bittersweet story in the shoes of the main character, Yun, where you will spend your time hanging out with a girl named Ai. Ai is everything Yun wishes for in a woman, except for one very important thing, a thing he prefers to disregard in order for them to have the best time of their lives. You have a day to enjoy your date and see the world from Yun's point of view. The reason I did that is because I want to draw attention to the line, Ai is everything Yun wishes for in a woman, except for one very important thing. Basically, this whole story is leading up to the reveal of what this thing is, ending shortly after the reveal, and leaving you, the reader, to reflect on the story and see what has just transpired from a new perspective. And I like that sort of thing, where the story takes on a new meaning once you know everything, and I think Carpe Diem exceeds at that sort of storytelling. Again, it's only 10 minutes if you read as fast as me and see every interaction, but looking back on these interactions a second time with this newfound knowledge did make for an engaging experience, one that I'm still feeling the effects of, emotionally speaking. Now, I will say I predicted this revelation or twist, if you will, when I first played this visual novel way back when, but I think it was executed in an interesting way, so that I didn't mind the fact that I already realized what this story was going for. To me, even if I already know what direction a story is heading, so long as it can still handle the story beats on the journey well to keep me invested, I say that's a win. And Carpe Diem does that. On the surface, you have two people engaging in fun interactions with witty banter and dialogue, which manages to get me attached to the two characters. But lurking beneath it all is a sense that things aren't as perfect as they seem. This coming from the line I mentioned earlier from the Steam page. I think the story is best experienced with the knowledge that there is going to be a big reveal, because it lets readers keep guessing what exactly the one very important thing is that Yun so desperately tries to ignore. And that adds a sense of tension and mystery to these fun interactions, which I already enjoyed just because they were entertaining, but also now because I have to try and read between the lines to see if there are any hints to the true nature of the story. It makes for a memorable experience in what could have otherwise been a forgettable 10-minute story. The writing overall was strong. Like I said, the interactions were enjoyable to read thanks to the fun way Ai and Yun bounce off each other. And the way this 10-minute narrative was paced to lead up to the ending reveal was very satisfying. The reveal scene itself I found to be handled great too. It does end abruptly after the reveal, which normally I don't like in a story, but the jarring nature of the abrupt ending I think really hammers home the nature of the reveal's effect on the story in a way that feels fitting both story-wise and thematically. It also makes it so readers have to immediately be alone with their thoughts, and if that's not the scariest thing imaginable, then what is? I guess taxes are freaky to be fair. So yeah, overall I really enjoyed the short but memorable story Carpe Diem had to offer. Let's quickly talk about the other aspects to this visual novel. The artwork is really good. I wouldn't call it groundbreaking by any means, but the backgrounds are colorful and fun to look at. I especially like the background of the park you start the story in, and Ai has a good variety of well-drawn character sprites with different facial expressions. It's not a ton, but more than enough for this 10-minute story. And Yun himself doesn't have any character sprites, which is pretty normal for visual novels, the main character often acting as a self-insert character for the reader. There was only really one CG in this game, which I think is perfectly fine for a 10-minute visual novel. The rest of the artwork more than holds up, so the lack of CGs really didn't bother me at all. As for the soundtrack, it was good. I'm really not the best when it comes to describing why or how music is good, and actually the same kind of goes for artwork too, but I think I'm a little better at that. But I can say I enjoyed the background music of Carpe Diem, and it matched the tone of the story well. I can't say it was super memorable, but I also just didn't spend a lot of time with the music tracks, so maybe that's why. So yeah, the soundtrack is good. That's about all I have to say on that. The UI of the game is good too. It's easy to navigate and easy on the eyes, which is all I can ask for, really. you can toggle your preferences and settings on the main screen. And one thing I noticed is that this visual novel has a pretty decent amount of translations in other languages. Guess that's the perk of having a relatively short story, but I thought that was neat when I saw it. One thing I wish this visual novel did that I think would have really went the extra mile was having the title screen change after you complete the story for the first time and know the reveal of it. It's not a huge deal that it stays the same, but I think a new title screen reflecting the tonal shift caused by the reveal would have been a neat way to put a bow on the story. But I think that's about all I gotta say for the rest of the visual novel. So to review, Carpe Diem is a memorable 10-minute experience with a premise that seems simple at a glance, but leads up to an important reveal that changes the reader's outlook on the story and leaves you with some stuff to think about. As a 10-minute experience, I say it does a really great job of doing what it sets out to do, which is why I give Carpe Diem an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed Carpe Diem and want to see more of it, good news! There's a sequel that was kickstarted called Carpe Diem Reboot, which you can buy for $5. From my hazy memories of when I played the visual novel, holy crap, it was 5 years ago, it takes place after Carpe Diem and builds upon the reveal and thematic narrative of the original. I remember really enjoying it, and as I discussed briefly in an earlier video, the story was really bold in the direction it decided to go, and managed to keep me guessing what was going to happen towards the end. Most of the time I can kind of figure out what the end game of a story is. That just comes with having consumed a ton of media during your 22 years of life. So it always stands out to me when a piece of media can really throw me for a loop. I'm looking at you, Umineko. But that's all I'm going to say on the sequel for now. I do want to revisit it and review it at a later date since I remember enjoying it, so I'll save all my thoughts on it for a later video. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review. For anyone who has played Carpe Diem, what did you think of it? Do you agree with my score? And if you have any recommendations for good short visual novels, shoot them my way. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know that 2022 was a pretty nothing year content-wise. I said it a million times already, but it's just between college, work, and other stuff. I am extremely busy, and when I'm not, I'm very tired and burnt out. But I've gotten a second win thanks to the recent announcement that Review Starlight, which is one of my favorite series ever, is getting a visual novel. So I'm gonna do my best to keep playing and reviewing visual novels this year, not just because of the excitement coursing through me because of that announcement, but also because I do love visual novels as a medium of storytelling, and sharing my thoughts on them all with you is something I really enjoy. I also plan to sporadically make videos on Review Starlight, since I genuinely consider it a masterpiece that any and everyone should watch, and I have so many thoughts and feelings on the series I want to share with you all, including how it changed my life. And I know that's corny to say, but I really do mean it. Also, Review Starlight has killer music. So yeah, watch Review Starlight. It's a unique and dazzling masterpiece I think most people can relate to, and if that's not enough, stay tuned for way more videos than is socially acceptable about the series involving angsty theater girls that is a great representation of the struggles and beauty of pursuing creative endeavors and how— Sorry, that was Review Starlight fan NoahNovels. We try not to let him out too often. Despite only rediscovering his passion for the series in early 2022, he has amassed the obsession of a lifelong Power Rangers fan who has been watching since Mighty Morphin came out. Don't look at me. I don't write the crappy analogies in these videos. That's Analogy NoahNovels' job. To be fair, the only thing we let him read is My Hero Academia fanfiction, so that might be why his analogies are lacking in scope and variety. In all seriousness, thanks to everyone who's watching this video and also everyone who's stuck with my channel even through the long stretches of inactivity, aside from me ranting about Review Starlight and Neon Genesis Evangelion on Twitter. I appreciate everyone who watches and enjoys my videos, and I look forward to what will hopefully be a fuller year of NoahNovels content. For anyone watching who had never heard of Carpe Diem before this video, or is maybe thinking about getting it, I hope I did an adequate job of reviewing it and maybe even convincing you to try it out for yourself. I really enjoyed my rereading of it just now for this review video, and like I said, I do remember enjoying Carpe Diem Reboot, so I hope we do see more from Moonlit Works in the future. Besides what I mentioned earlier, the Carpe Diem titles and Without Romance, it doesn't look like they have any other works on their Steam page, but through this reread of Carpe Diem and my memories of Carpe Diem Reboot, I know they have such great talent and passion for impactful storytelling, so I really hope we see more from them in the future. If by any chance Moonlit Works is watching this, please keep up the great work. I look forward to whatever you may have planned next in the future, and I definitely will be rereading Carpe Diem Reboot and checking out Without Romance sometime in the future. Also, you guys objectively made the best character because his name is Yun. There is obviously no bias there. He is just the best. Let's leave it at that. If you're new to this channel and want to see more content from me, primarily being visual novel reviews and anime-related content, please consider subscribing and maybe even checking out some of my other videos. Subscribe especially though if you've never seen Review Starlight, because I will convince everyone on Earth to watch it if it's the last thing I do. Sorry, Review Starlight fan NoahNovels keeps escaping, and I'm not sure how to contain him. Thank you again to everyone so much for watching this video, and until the next one, see you guys.